and welcome to part 2 of our sock tutorial, and the next bit we will be working on the heel. So in the next little section after just this little introduction, I will explain it much better. This next bit has two different methods. I will start with the first method, and then I will show you method number 2 with the next sock. This one will be method 1, then the next sock will be method 2. And it's simply to do with the edging of this little bit here. And I will explain that a little bit better in method number 2. So let's start with method number 1, which will be to work on a certain number of stitches. See you in a moment. So this is part 2 of our sock tutorial, and I think the next bit we're doing is the heel section. So here is my sock so far. I have done 26 rows of ribbing, and the next bit I did 48 rows of stocking stitch. So now we are ready to work on the heel, or we're going to start to work on the heel. And this is a little bit more complicated because it's all to do with maths. So I have 72 stitches on my needle, but maybe you will have the 76, I don't know. What we're going to do is we're going to halve the number of stitches. So if you're working on 76 stitches, if you halve this number of stitches, it will be I think it's 38. And then you will need to halve that again, and it will be 19 stitches. So essentially we're going to work with a quarter of the stitches for now, and then we will work on the quarter of stitches later. I think this will be to make the heel. It will make sense as we go along. So for this next bit that we are working, let me look at the pattern. We are going to work on the next, for you it will be 19 stitches, I believe. Let me pause. Okay, so yes, my size is, since I've got 72 stitches here, I'm going to work across the next 18 stitches, just the next 18 stitches. The rest of the stitches you will not work with them at all, okay? So 18 stitches, or for you, if you have 76 stitches, you will work with 19 stitches. So shall we get to work? Okay, so it's very simple. We are going to knit the first 18 or 19 stitches. So let's do this together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have I gone off? Here we are. Here I am. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So these are the number of stitches we're going to work on, or it could be 19 stitches for you. Make sure you keep, the number of stitches count, because it's very important. Do not work with these stitches for now, not at all until I tell you when. Okay? So now that we've done one row, we're going to do a further, for me it will be 19 rows. For you, it could be 24 rows. We are, 23, for a total of 24 rows. Because we're going to work these stitches with still a stocking stitch. So the next row is purl, and just working on those stitches I will be doing a total of 20 rows. I've already done my first one. So you will be doing another 23 rows. So you will turn and you will purl, and you're just going to do that until you have your 24 rows in total. And I will meet you to do the next bit. Okay, so I have done 19 rows and I have one more row to go. So this is how it looks so far. Remember, these are the stitches you have not worked with, and 19 rows, and this is the 20th, or for you, you should have made 24 rows in total. So I will finish this row very quickly, and I will show you what your work should look like. I think I see a hair. I'm not sure. Oh my goodness, I don't know how, but yarn always picks this up so easily, even though I can't see it with a camera. Here it is. I'm working really differently today, so I don't know where I'm supposed to be working. Okay, so this is what your work should look like. This is method number 2. Now that you have looked at method number 1, you might decide you want to do method number 2. Method number 2 apparently is supposed to make the heel a little bit stronger. So all you will have to do is work on your number of stitches. For me it's 18, and for you it could be 19. We are going to knit the first 18 or 19 stitches. But here is where it is a little bit different. It says here that you will have to knit. So working on your 18 stitches, or 19 stitches, you will knit until you have one left. So for me, I'm going to do 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, now the last stitch, what you're going to do is you're just going to slip it purlwise. Slip it purlwise, just like so. We have now achieved the first row by knitting until the last stitch, and we slipped the last stitch. So now you're going to turn your work around, and you are just going to purl all the stitches, including that slip stitch. This should create a very nice edging here to make it easier for you to pick up stitches as you work along. I will show you when we get to that bit, which won't be quite a while yet. So let's purl. I think I'll have to change the angle of the camera. So I'm purling all the stitches now. I'm at a very awkward angle. I'm just experimenting with recording because I'm in a different area once again, and I'm hoping this one can be successful. Okay, so I've purled all the stitches. Now let's get on to the next row. So now we have achieved 2 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and do the third row, and then I'm just going to do 2 more rows, and then I'll let you carry on with this bit. So I'm going to knit until I have 1 stitch left to the end of this little bit. So I'm going to do 17 stitches in total. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I have 1 stitch left, which I am going to slip purlwise. There we are. And then we're going to turn around and we're going to purl all the stitches, including the slip stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to do that very quickly. Okay, and that concludes row number 4. So I'm gonna do 1 more row because I want to show you the edging. So, but I'll pause and I'll be back in a second. So this is the first sock that I was working on before, and I'm gonna try and show you the edging here, because when we're going to work, we're going to start working on this bit in the next section, but I think we will have to pick up stitches on the side here, and if you haven't slipped stitches, this is what the work looks like. I hope you can see. In fact, it's right at the edge of the sock, just like here. So I think you'll be able to pick up stitches just fine, but when you slip the stitches, let's see if I can show you the difference. I wish my camera would, just zoom in a bit more. Here, you see, we've done 4 rows, and we can pick up from these 2 ends here. There and there. Much more easier. So much more easier to see, and it will create a stronger fabric apparently. So yes, I would highly recommend the second method. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the next 16 rows, and I will be back to show you in even more detail what I mean by that. Okay, so I'll see you shortly. So here we are. I have now 1 more row to do to complete this section here. I just have to go back and purl this row. But before I do, I want to show you the edging here. Because can you see the slip stitches? Here, here, here. You can see them. You'll be able to see them in person even better. There you are, you see? We are going to use these slip stitches to pick up stitches and knit. So I will show you when we get to that part, which will be very important. So I think I will finish off this part and edit it as a video, and then I will come back and I'll work on the next part, which is here. I told you there's going to be quite a few videos in that one, but I think it's important to do it 1 step at a time so that we don't get confused. Okay, so the next step we're going to work on the top of this section here. So let's do this. Well, at least let's finish this video for now, and I'll start recording the next bit. So see you in the next video.